once again, you are welcome to Catfish Solution Place. You are welcome to the episode 26. Yes, right, episode 26. And from this episode 26, I will be talking about feed formulation. That means the A to Z of catfish farming. My name once again still remains Obitola Isabi, your great anchor on this channel, and I'll be talking about the cheaper alternative formulation for our 4mm. For those of you who have finished watching the episode 25, this episode 26 is the follow-up of episode 25, and from this episode 25 I'll be stopping from where I stopped from episode 25. And where do I stop? I stopped by concluded in making the formulation, my original formulation for the 4mm locally made feed formulation. And from this episode I'll be going into the alternative, and the alternative I'll be using local fish meal. The local fish meal, I'll be using the local fish meal of 65%. And for those of you who have not patronized us for our Moroccan 60% local fish meal, digestible crude protein local fish meal with good energy, fat and ash, you can, is on my screen here. I'll put it here. Make sure that you contact me for the fish meal. Make sure that you buy yours and this and DM me for the price. I'll give you the price. The price is relatively cheap for catfish farmer than using all the junks, all the shaft around you can see in any store. So this is a Moroccan and tested, the proof of test, I'll put it here, tested fish meal that works well for you guys. Yeah, so from this one I'll be using a local fish meal of 65%, which I'll be putting the price for 555 naira, and I'll be using 20 kilo for this formulation. And I'll be using our blood meal. The blood meal, I'll be using a crude protein of 90%, which I'll be putting the price for 300 naira, and I'll be using just 5 kilo for this formulation, which gives my cost to 1,500 naira. And I'll be using feather meal. So the feather meal, I'll be using a feather meal of a crude protein of 82%, and I'll be using targeting it to 200 naira, and I'll be using a quantity of 15% of feather meal, and this gives me 3,000 naira based on my analysis. And then I'll be using what we call the soya meal. The soya meal, I'll be using a crude protein of 46%, and from the 46% I'll be using a cost of 200 naira, and from the 200 naira I'll be using 15 kilo for our great formulation, which costs 12,000 naira. And I'll be using what we call the GNC. Note, this is our fifth formulation. I told you, in order to get it right in fish farming, you must understand how to alternate your feed ingredient. So alternating your feed ingredient is just about sourcing for other materials to get it right in fish farming. So from this point I'll be using the GNC. I told you, if you want to use do a floating feed, use the shard GNC, and I'll be using the GNC. I'll be using the crude protein of 60% for that, and I'll be tagging the price to 200 naira, and I'll be using 20 kg for my formulation, which comes to 4,000 naira. And then I'll be using what we call the Indomie for the number 6 ingredient I'm using, which is the last ingredient. And I'll be using the likes of the Indomie. It may be either the Indomie or biscuit waste or maize or wheat or rice brown or rice meal or beauty waste or sorghum. So I'll be using any one of these, and I tagged it to 13% crude protein. And if you can't get all these, you can as well use the duckweed and the azolla plant, which constitute higher crude protein. So you can use your azolla and duckweed for 25% of this material. And you know, if you are using azolla and duckweed, this is costing maybe 3,000 naira. The azolla and duckweed will cost you nothing. So that is the essence of you saving your money for producing feed. And the number 7 I'll be using is the additives, which is the additives, the premix, the lysine mentholin, and the vitamin C. And from this point, this constitute my alternative formulation for 4mm, and I'll be dashing out the calculation for the crude protein. That means the manual way of calculating your crude protein. So the fish meal is 65% times 100 times 20. I'll be using 20 kg divided by 1 gives me 13%. The blood meal, I'll be using 90% crude protein, and divided by 100 times 5 divided by 1. This gives me 4.1% crude protein. The feather meal, I'll be using 82% divided by 100 times 15 divided by 1 gives me 12.3% crude protein. And for the soya, I'll be using 46% divided by 100 times 15 divided by 1. This gives me a 6.9% crude protein. And the GNC, I'll be using a GNC of 60% crude protein divided by 100 times 20. I'll be using 20 kilo divided by 1. This gives me 12% crude protein, and I'll be using Indomie. But if you can't get Indomie, you use rice brown, any of these, biscuit, Azola, anyone you can get, please use that. But from this formulation, I'll be using Indomie, and I'll be tagging the crude protein to 13% divided by 100 times 25 kg divided by 1. This gives me 3.25% crude protein. Yeah, from this formulation, let me now calculate the crude protein I'm having from this alternative material. So the crude protein stays at fish gives me 13%, the blood gives me 4.5, the feather meal gave me 12.3, the soya meal gave me 6.9, the GNC gave me 12%, while my Indomie gives me 3.25% crude protein. So from this analysis, by the time I will calculate it, I'm having 51.5% crude protein for this formulation, and that means approximately 52%. For those of you who follow up from the original one to the alternative one, you can see that I arrived at the same crude protein for this concentration, but I try to cut the cost. So that is the essence of you sourcing for how to calculate and minimize your cost, your overhead cost on feed formulation. So from this point, this is the alternative formulation for your formulation for 4mm. So I'll be going into the 6mm size. So but before I go into the 6mm size, I'll be giving you a brief tutorial about the feed manipulation and feed nutritional diet that you need for this formulation. So from this point, once again, I will be saying a very big thank you for those of you who have subscribed to this channel. So those of you who are watching, for those of you who keep on watching to the end, and for those of you who really still want to join this program, but you join this business but you are scared. So this is the opportunity for you to drive with us, and we will take you through the rise drive. So once again, my name still remains Odutola Isabiodutien, your great anchor on this channel. Thank you, and God bless you all.